Okay, guys, so these are few ingredients for our pie crust. Yes. So I have here 1 stick unsalted butter cut up and 1/4 of a cup of vegetable shortening, but you don't have to add vegetable shortening, just add about another 2 tablespoons of butter. All right. Here I have a cup and a half of flour, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. All right. So now I am going to grab my cold butter. Yes, make sure your butter is completely cold. Very important. It's going to create those air pockets that's going to make your pie crust very flaky. Here I'm using a pie pastry tool to mash it. But if you don't have one of these, guys, it's just fine. Just put it in a food processor. Pause it a few times so it could break up your butter and your vegetable shortening. So now here I'm adding 4 to 5 tablespoons of ice cold water, guys. Ice cold water. All right. And again, I'm mashing it. And after I mash it, I'm going to start working with my hand. And when you're working with your hands, guys, try to do that part as fast as you can because you don't want your butter to melt. I created a ball and then flattened it, wrapped it up, put it in the fridge overnight so I could have it ready for the next day. But if you want to do it the same day, you could do it the same day and just have it in the fridge for a couple hours. All right, until it's very firm. But when you see that, you see the pieces of butter, you see how big they are. When I tell you this pie came out very flaky. Oh man, this pie crust came out very good. Okay, but anyway, when you get ready to roll it out, guys, put it in top of your counter for at least 10 minutes before you start rolling it out. And as you can see, I am adding a little bit of flour at a time, rotating. Every time I rotate my dough so it doesn't stick. Give it some love, and I promise you it's going to glove you back. Okay, be patient. Give it some love. As you can see that I'm doing. And guys, while we are rolling out this pie crust, if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, what are you waiting? Hit that subscribe button and that bell icon next to the subscribe button, guys. That is going to let you know every time I upload a new video. So you could have that front seat. I want you to have that front seat to enjoy all these wonderful recipes I have coming your way. Also hit that like button for me, guys. And guys, if you've been watching and especially making my recipes and you enjoy them, share this recipe with others. Hit that share button and start sharing this recipe, okay? The same way I'm sharing them with you. So here, as you can see, I've been giving my pie crust some love and rotating and the edges, putting them back together. If I see they crack a little bit, all right? And I'm keep rolling it until I have it enough to cover my pie pan. Also, guys, these pie molds, pans, they come, I notice, in different sizes. Some of them are deeper than others. So, if yours is very deep, you might need to double this recipe to make sure when you roll it out, you have enough to cover the inside and create that edge. And also, it also depends how thick you want your edges to be. All right, I'm just showing you how I do it. Sometimes I like it the way I'm doing it. Sometimes I like it. It depends on the flavor of the pie, really. And sometimes I like my crust to be even thicker. All right, but it's all preference. There's no right and wrong here. Like I always say, every recipe, guess what? Make it your own. So here, as you can see, I'm rolling it out, giving it that love. And when I tell you this pie crust love me back, Ooh, I know I gained at least 5 pounds because I couldn't stop eating this pie. It came out so delicious, so delicious. So I hope you give this recipe a thumbs up and make it for this holidays or any special occasion. You would not regret it. I promise you. So here I roll it out in the rolling pin, and now I'm gonna roll it inside my pie mold. Taking my time. All right. And I'm pushing it in to make sure it covers the bottom, as you can see, and all my corners. And I'm pressing down lightly, guys. I'm pressing down lightly. You see that? Meanwhile, I have my oven heat up at 425 degrees. 425. So here, I am gonna cut away some of the excess. Okay, you leave some of it hanging down because you are going to be folding it in. Folding it in, as you can see that I'm doing here. And like I said, guys, if you want your pie crust thicker, it's all preference. Just, roll it out less thinner. But this pie crust, I'm telling you, is so delicious, so delicious. So I did that all around, and now we're going to create the little design. So easy, guys. As you can see, you see my finger? You press between my finger. I push in and I press, and I'm going to continue to do this all around the pie. And after I'm done doing this, guys, I'm going to take this pie crust back to the fridge and let it cool off for a couple, it all depends on your fridge, half an hour, or whatever. But just make sure that your oven is at 425 degrees when you get ready to bake it. Okay, 425. So here I grab a parchment paper, created a circle, and fold it like we did back in school with the snowflake in 4 parts. And I made those little slit in the corners and also wrinkle it. And the reason why I do that, so the parchment paper won't be so stiff. All right. And it could just become flexible. So here I had some dried chickpeas, and I created like a little bowl out of foil, and that is going to hold down that parchment paper. And I'm making sure I press lightly the foil all throughout the pie, lightly, guys, and spread out my chickpeas. You could use any dry beans, it's fine. And I baked this in the oven. I put it at 425 degrees. I baked it for, I think it was 10 minutes, 10 to 12 minutes. Now I'm gonna remove this. So this part, just be very careful, guys. Very careful, because of course you already know it's hot. That foil is hot. And I'm gonna remove the parchment paper. Okay, this method is called blind baking. Okay, so you blind baking your pie crust. Now I'm poking with my fork so the bottom doesn't get too flaky on me. And I'm gonna go ahead and cover my pie edges with a long piece of foil. As you can see, you do not press down on your pie crust. You're just creating like a chill. As you can see, lightly over it. You see that? Just like that. You don't press down on your edges. And you do this so your pie edges doesn't burn. And you're gonna put it back in the oven. I went ahead and lowered the temperature to 375 when I did that. And I baked it again for another 7 minutes, I believe it was. And now final, I created an egg wash. and that, and which is a little bit of water and 1 egg, and I'm gonna glaze my pie crust, the bottom and the edges. And the reason why I do that is so my pie crust doesn't get soggy, but it is all preference. I like my pie crust just to be nice and flaky and man. I'm telling you. And right now I went ahead and lowered my oven temperature now to 350 degrees. 350 degrees. And after I put this egg wash on it, you don't put that much, as you can see, very lightly, and I spread it really good. Then I'm going to cover my edges again with the foil, and I'm going to return it back to the oven. And I'm going to leave it there for at least 3 or 4 minutes. At this time, it's just for the egg wash to get cooked. And you already know that cooks very quickly. So just leave it there for 3 to 4 minutes at 350 degrees. Take it out. Now we are going to create our pie filling. So here I have Libby pumpkin pie filling, 2 cups of that, 2 eggs, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, a half a cup of light brown sugar, a quarter of a cup of white sugar, a quarter teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of ground ginger. And right now, guys, this is my secret ingredients. Okay, I don't use allspice. I use cayenne pepper. I use 1/8 of a teaspoon. 1/8 of a teaspoon. Basically half of that quarter teaspoon. Okay, guys, when I tell you I've been doing this for a very long time, and people always eat my pies and be, what is in this pie? It's so good. They be trying to guess what I put in there. That cayenne pepper, boy. I don't use the allspice. I use that cayenne pepper. Give it a try. Don't knock it until you try it. You are going to love it. So here I went ahead. I have evaporated milk. I have 10 ounces of evaporated milk, and I warm up my milk. Not hot, just warm, before I add it to my ingredients. And it's just gonna create that pie filling so silky, because the warmness of the evaporated milk is just gonna bring everything together, guys. Everything together. And when I tell you, this pie filling came out so tasty and so silky, oh man, I know I gained 5 pounds eating this pie, because I could not stop eating it. And I'm pretty sure it's the same thing going to happen to you and your loved ones. Okay, so make sure you make more than one pie. Make sure you make more than one pie. So here I'm filling up my pie crust. And again, I am going to cover my edges. All right. And I'm going to put it in the oven. And my oven right now is at 350 degrees. All right. So remember, you had to change your temperature of your oven 3 times. 3 times. So here I went ahead and in my oven, my pie baked completely in 35 minutes. But everybody's oven is different. I would start with 30 minutes. And keep an eye on it. And when you see it's nice and firm like that, it's ready to go. I removed that pie shell, and I had let it cook also for 5 more minutes for the edges to be like that. Guys, this pie came out delicious. So, okay, so this is my final product, guys. I appreciate each one of you for your support. Thank you for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Give it that thumbs up, and I will see you on the next recipe. You have a blessed day.